Hey everyone, I'm Lindsay from thetoastedpinenut.com, and today we are making a delicious jackfruit burrito bowl that is loaded with healthy, feel-good ingredients. It's vegan, it's gluten-free, and it's so delicious. I know you guys are gonna love it. The first step is we're gonna make a homemade queso. It's completely dairy-free. So the ingredients you're gonna need are some raw cashews. A lot of people ask me if you need to soak them before. If you have a high-powered blender, you don't need to soak them, but if you need a food processor that needs a little help, you can soak them for 30 minutes beforehand. Some salsa, some nutritional yeast that gives it a nice cheesy flavor, some salt, some cumin, and some water. All right, so we're gonna put all of our ingredients into our blender. So we're gonna start with the cashews, the salsa, nutritional yeast, some cumin, the salt, and the water. Blend it up. All right, so it's gonna be nice and creamy and totally combined. And so if you wanted to use this as a dip with some chips, you could warm it up, heat it up over the stovetop just for a couple minutes, whisking. But we're gonna use it as a dressing on top of some kale. So I'm just gonna pour it into a bowl and set it aside. All right, so now we're gonna get started on the jackfruit part of this recipe. So jackfruit is from a tree, but I buy it in a can online. You wanna make sure it's in water. If it's in like a brine or an oil, it will taste kind of funky. So make sure it's jackfruit in water. So what we're gonna do is just put some coconut oil in our pan. All right, so we're gonna put the jackfruit into our pan. So jackfruit's great because it comes in these chunks, but as it cooks, it breaks up a little bit. And so the texture resembles like a shredded chicken or pulled pork, and it gives it a really hearty texture. All right, so this is starting to soften. It's been about 10 minutes, so I'm just gonna take my spatula and start to break it up, and it's kind of gonna pull apart into nice strands. All right, so everything is looking nice and broken up and pulled apart. And so what we're gonna do is add our spices. So we have garlic powder, onion powder, smoked paprika, some chili powder, and some sea salt. So we're just gonna add those in and continue to cook them until everything is nice and combined and softened and broken up. All right, so the next step is we're going to assemble our bowls. So you need 4 cups of kale. So I have a bunch of kale leaves. I really like the curly kale. And what you're going to do is just pull apart the leaves. So you're gonna pull the leaves from that center stem part. All right, so we're just gonna coarsely chop the kale. So just take your knife and just go through it once or twice. And then we're gonna put all of this into our big mixing bowl. All right, so the next step is we're gonna take the queso and we're gonna pour it on top of the kale, and then we're just gonna toss everything together until it's nice and combined. All right, so now we're just gonna divide the kale into the individual bowls. Now we're gonna top each bowl with some jackfruit. All right, so the next step is we're just gonna finish it off with some toppings. So I have some peppers, some onions, and some frozen corn, and I'm just gonna soften it a bit in my skillet. So I have some coconut oil. I'm just gonna put that right into my pan. Now I'm gonna add the peppers and the onions and the corn. All right, so now that the peppers and the onions and the corn are nice and soft, we're just gonna put them on top of our jackfruit bowls. All right, so they're pretty much done. We're just gonna finish them off with some fresh salsa. You could also use some guacamole or just sliced avocado and some cilantro. All right, so there you have it. Delicious, vegan, dairy-free, meat-free jackfruit burrito bowls. I'm gonna take a bite. So fun, so flavorful. I love that cheesy queso on top of the kale, and the hearty jackfruit is so flavorful. I hope you guys make this recipe. I hope you love it. You can find the full recipe on my blog, thetoastedpinenut.com. I'll see you next time. Bye.